Welcome to Bucky's Sports Show. I'm Bucky. I'm here tonight with Jay. We're going to talk about the AL Central this evening. Jay, first off, I think this is going to be a really fun division. There's not much parity with the exception of the Chicago White Sox. But here tonight and then tomorrow when we talk NL Central, one thing that bothers me about the Central Division teams is where we live, the MLB blackout rules. You can't watch either Chicago teams. You can't watch the Cardinals. You can't watch the Reds unless you have all the local channels.
Right.
And me being a cord cutter, to where I don't have cable, I don't have satellite. I'm a streamer. I don't have access to those channels. And I really think MLB needs to take a look at their blackout rules and tweak those a little bit.
They are. That's the little bit of good news. The bad news is that it's just right now a total mess. That's the one thing that the NFL and even the NHL have ahead of Major League Baseball. They created this monster and they sold, even on the blackout rules, the rights were mostly with Bally Sports.
Right.
I think 20-something of the 30 teams were Bally Sports teams. Bally Sports goes bankrupt. So now they're scrambling trying to decide what to do.
Yeah.
That's what's enabling the Dodgers to spend the kind of money they're spending. And of course, we'll talk about them when we talk about the West, but you can't fault the Dodgers for spending the money that they have because they've got their own network.
Right.
The Yankees have their own network.
Right.
They've got that money flowing in like God knows how much.
Yeah.
So they can afford to spend, and there's no rule against it.
Right.
But you can't. I have the baseball package and cannot watch any Chicago teams or St. Louis or Cincinnati.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And here's the really ironic thing about that: that I don't even get the MLB network. I pay $30-something a month for the baseball package, and the MLB network is not included in that package. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay? But thank God I am a baseball fan first and a Cardinal fan second. I like watching everybody. But if I want to watch the Cardinals, like you say, I know only to watch everybody else I have to buy a baseball package. But if I want to watch the Cardinals, I've got to buy the Cardinal package.
Right.
So I got to pay double.
Right.
It's an absolute mess to me. If I'm paying for the Major League Baseball package, I should get to choose from everybody.
Absolutely.
And their network.
Absolutely.
It's just another sign that every sport is all out for the money. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Money, money, money. And I think they're driving a lot of fans off. They're really missing out.
Yeah, they are.
At least follow the example of the NFL and the NBA. I don't think there's any blackout rules for the NFL. If you buy the NFL package, can you watch them all?
I believe so. No, I've not bought the NFL package.
No, I haven't either. But I think you can watch anybody you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they need to find that out, and the owners need to be a little bit more flexible.
Yep.
About now the Dodgers. Even though they have their own network, I can watch the Dodgers, but if I want the home feed, you have to get their network.
Yeah.
But you can watch them on the other feed.
Right.
Most of the time, if you've got the baseball package, you get a choice of which feed you want.
Yep.
Like if you want to watch Tampa, you can watch the Tampa feed or the road feed.
Yeah.
But with the Dodgers, you can't watch the home feed usually because you got to be a member of their network. So it's just to sum it up, it's a royal mess.
Well, and not only the blackout rule, it's also when me being a Braves fan, and they have a game, and I used to pay strictly to see the Braves, like $100 a season just to watch Braves games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they start putting them on Apple TV or the Roku channel or Peacock
Friday night, though, yeah, you
or
can't watch.
whatever other streaming service it is.
Yeah.
And then I paid all that money to watch Braves, and then, you gotta go pay all these other services a monthly fee too.
You know, there's too many outlets. They
Just-
gotta consult. I just think the easiest way to do it would be Major League Baseball to take over the broadcast of every team.
Every team,
Every broadcast of every team.
Yep.
And then divvy it out.
Yeah.
That's the only logical way to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of piecing here and piecing there and all that. But like I said, they started out, they just wanted to grab as much money as possible, and they didn't think it through, especially the part where Bally went bankrupt
Yeah.
and just left a huge hole. And not only does that, going into this season with that all still in question mark, a lot of these teams had no idea of whether to sign a free agent or not because they didn't know their income.
Right.
That's talk about handcuffing someone, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a mess.
Yeah, it is.
It's a mess.
It is. With that, let's get into the AL Central.
Who you want first?
I am going to go with the team that was extremely hard to do, that I didn't enjoy doing, that has absolutely no chance of winning this division. Might have a chance to win a game. Let's talk Chicago White Sox, then we'll talk about the good teams in the division. So Chicago White Sox. Let's go through their betting odds here. The World Series, they're a plus 50,000. That's a no for me. AL Pennant, that's a plus 20,000. That's a no for me. AL Central is a plus 25,000. That's again a no for me. Win total. This is the really only interesting betting prop on the White Sox even.
Yeah.
Because the
Same
win
way with the
total,
Marlins, yeah.
the win total is at 53.5, and the over is minus 110, and the under is minus 110. And I got a slight lean over.
You think they'll win more than 50?
I don't know. I'm not positive.
Well, they lost 120 something last year, so that's what they won 40. Less than 40.
41, 42, 43, somewhere in
Okay.
that area is what they won. I don't know if they can go plus 10 in the win column.
I don't see it.
But that's what I have on my piece of paper, so I'm going to roll with it.
I'd have to
I would advise no one to bet on it.
No.
Make the playoffs. The yes is plus 4,000. The no is minus 20,000. I've got a solid no on that one as well. My players to watch. I've got Colson Montgomery. He was the 22nd pick in 2021. He was born in Jasper, Indiana. Went to Southridge High School in Huntingtonburg there in Indiana. Being somewhat local to us, he used to beat Linton in the regional, which brought me a lot of happiness.
Yeah, he's my hero.
So sorry, Matt, but I like it when Linton loses.
Yeah, nothing finer than beating the Linton Miners, Jeff Eccles used to say.
Yeah, so that's really, there wasn't a lot of positive things to find out.
I got one for you.
Oh, you have one?
I got one.
Okay,
for you.
I found one too.
Luis Robert Jr. He is a center field prospect. This will be his first year. He'll be on the opening day roster.
Yep.
He's projected to have a 736 on base OPS.
Okay.
He's a 3.0 WAR, which that's a good number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not smart enough to figure out all the figures behind WAR.
Sure.
But anybody with a 3, the next highest on the whole team behind him is 1.4 WAR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he is projected very high. He was their first round draft pick in 2019. The interesting thing about him is, though, he's already 27 years old. I don't know where he's been. I know he's been in the minors, but I thought he would have been, with the White Sox especially, should have got a chance before now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but he's supposed to be really good.
Okay.
I don't see any other bright spots. I don't even know. Well, Joey Gallo, I know him because he's been everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's been with the Yankees, the Rangers, the Twins, he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
But he's 31 now, so he's still fairly young, but he's not going to help him out a whole lot. He's going to be in left field for him, they project, but
Yeah.
not much to be excited about here.
No.
I don't know how you could be a White Sox fan, to tell you the truth. But
Well, here's my Kirk's Keys. This is my one bright spot for the White Sox, and that's the MLB blackout rule. I don't have to watch them. They'll never be on my TV because they're blacked out.
Well, you could probably buy their package.
So MLB, thank you for that one. I do appreciate that blackout.
They'd probably appreciate it if you pay the extra.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, they're awful.
Okay, so with that being said, let's move on to the rest of the AL Central
Right.
that actually worth talking about.
All right.
And one thing I noticed going through this today when I was getting our betting odds, the win totals for the rest of the teams. I'm just going to run over these real quick.
Probably pretty close together.
Cleveland Guardians 82.5, Detroit Tigers 83.5, Kansas City Royals 83.5, Minnesota Twins 84.5. I mean, you are talking 4 teams that Las Vegas has within 2 games of each other.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think
I
they're being overly optimistic on a couple of them, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Like I said.
Well, let's start with the Guardians.
Okay.
I got the Guardians World Series as a plus 4,000. I got that as a no.
No.
AL Pennant, I got that as a plus 1,400. I got that as a no.
No.
AL Central as a plus 300. I got that as a no.
Mm-hmm.
The win total 82.5. I've got that a slight under.
Yeah.
Make the playoffs. Yes is plus 120. No is minus 145. I've got that as a no.
I don't think so.
Keeping up with the White Sox there, my player to watch is Tim Herron. He's a Terre Haute South grad, so he's a local guy to us. Last year in 75 games, he was 5-1 with a
he's in our bullpen, right?
with a 1.92 ERA, 65 2/3 innings, 68 strikeouts to 25 walks.
Mm-hmm.
He would come in and knock you down last year.
He did, yeah.
If he can continue that and be a stronghold in the bullpen that they need, I think that will bring them some wins.
Yeah, that's their strong point. The strongest point for this whole team is their bullpen.
Yeah.
Their offense leaves a lot to be desired. And their starting pitching staff, well, I think you could pretty well sum up, because they had, Bieber's still out.
That's one of my keys. When he returns, what form will he be coming off Tommy John?
And how long? But at this point right now, it says a lot to the condition of your pitching staff and how good your pitching staff is when your number one starter is Tanner Bybee.
Mm-hmm.
Very weak starting pitching staff.
Yeah.
If the pitching staff can get them to the bullpen, then they got a chance.
Yeah.
And let's face it, even last year when they won the division, their offense wasn't that strong.
Correct.
And David Fry is gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's out, elbow surgery last October. God knows when he'll be back.
Yeah.
And in just 122 games last year, he had 14 home runs and 51 RBIs for this team. Beyond Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez, I don't know where their offense is going to come from.
Yeah. Carlos
Santana was a good sign for them because he's last year's Gold Glove winner.
Right.
But he's right at 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of offense coming from him anymore. And to be brutally honest, I didn't have time to look up this guy. But their number 3 hitter is Kyle Manzardo.
Yeah.
I never even heard of him.
Right.
So I I don't think there's serious contention to win that division because I don't think they can score enough runs.
Yeah.
And I don't think they could get to that bullpen with this staff.
Okay, so Kyle Manzotto, or however you pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he played in 53 games. He had 145 at bats. He was a 234 hitter with 5 home runs and 15 RBI, and that is your DH.
Yeah, and he's batting third.
I mean, you know,
and he's batting third.
Right.
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's not been around a while. They got him in a trade from Tampa.
Last year was his first season.
Okay.
Major League.
All right. I just don't, unless they see something I don't see.
I just pulled his stats up there, so I really didn't know anything about it.
Well, and another big loss for them was Bo Naylor's brother, the other Naylor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was half their offense last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
I think he went to Kansas City. Where did he go?
I don't remember.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't. If that manager pulls this team into contention, then he is truly. He's a good manager, but I don't think he can do anything with it.
No, I really don't either. Okay, so that was my other key. The questionable rotation, Shane Bieber returning, and Jose Ramirez. Well,
he's always a stud.
But he's got to do it every night now.
No,
he can't.
No.
He's got to be that 500 hitter and 100 home runs.
And Kwan's a great player.
Yeah.
But those two can't carry this team.
No. All right, let's move on to the Detroit Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
I got the World Series at a plus 3,500. That's a no for me. AL Pennant plus 1,300. That's a no for me. AL Central plus 270. That's a no for me. Win total 83.5. The over is minus 110. The under is minus 110. I've got over slightly. Make playoffs, yes, is plus 110. No is minus 130. I've got a no. My player to watch is Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
Can he produce like he did last year? He's coming off a Cy Young Award. And he's going to have to be great again for the Tigers to have a chance. And Kirk's keys is pitching. Pitching will keep Tigers in games, but for them to be a playoff team, they have to find consistent offense.
I have them pick to win the division.
Okay.
I don't think their second half last year was a fluke. I think their young players are really starting to come around. And you add Jack Flaherty into the mix of what you had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. The Job kid, absolute stud.
Yeah.
Pitching prospect. He'll be there before the year's out. So you add him into this starting rotation that you have already, and I got him picked to win it. I got him picked to win the division.
Well, my question mark wasn't the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
My question mark was the everyday guys.
Well, I think they.
You know, when I look at it, Gleyber Torres, I've heard of, Jace Jung.
Well, these guys are all so young.
You know, so Riley Green, I think I remember that
Riley
name.
Green is he's going to be a stud.
You know, the others, I understand they're young and they had a good year last year. Can they do it again?
I think so.
And you know, I think it's good for baseball when a team like Detroit is good and contending.
But it will be razor. I think they'll win it, but I think it'll be razor thin.
Oh, I think any of these four teams that
absolutely
can win it.
Absolutely, but I picked them just a little bit over what our next team is probably going to be, Kansas City.
Yep.
I see those two right there.
Yes.
But I just barely give a little bit of the edge to Detroit because of Flaherty coming into what they had last year, and Joe coming later.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I wouldn't bet on between those two.
Right.
And then we'll get to Minnesota in a minute.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
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 my friends in Sullivan probably not going to appreciate what I got to say about Minnesota.
Well,
but,
I might be able to pick their spirits up.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Not much, because I'm about to sink them here in a second. Okay, let's move on to Kansas City Royals.
All right.
The World Series is plus 3,000. I got to know. AL Pennant plus 1,300. I got to know. AL Central plus 270. I got yes. I think the Royals won the Central this year.
Okay.
Win total 83.5. Overs minus 110. Unders minus 110. I've got the over. Make playoffs. Yes plus 110. No minus 130. Obviously, I got the yes with them winning the Central.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably why, and this could be a flop. Kyle Wright. In 2022, he was 21-5 with a 3.92 ERA, 174 Ks, and 180 and a third innings. He got hurt in 24 and 23, missed half of that season, all of last year with shoulder surgery. Can he return? Because if he can return to what he was doing for the Braves in 22, the Royals will be just fine this year.
Well, this is very. Yeah. He's on the injured list right now.
He will be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered why I didn't see him in the starting rotation, and yeah, there he is. Yeah. Like I said, they're right there with me with Detroit. One of the really great things that Kansas City did, and this really flew under the radar because of his time with the Reds, is their signing of Jonathan India.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Reds fans were probably glad to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I just looked this up. Kyle Wright is day-to-day as of right now.
Okay, all right. Well, the one thing about Jonathan India is that he's an on-base machine.
Mm-hmm.
He won't get you home runs. He's not going to hit for a real high batting average, but he walks a lot.
Right.
And that's why they signed him.
Mm-hmm.
He has a almost a 360 on base percentage. So you put him on base in front of Witt and Pasquantino and Salvador Perez. They've got a very good offense. The other good thing about Kansas City is they're very fundamentally sound and they play good defense.
Yeah.
Okay. And their pitching staff, their starting staff is solid. Reagans, Lugo, Waka. We'll talk about Waka later. Their bullpen's adequate. It's not earth shattering. There's not a guy there that just absolutely stands out. But Estevez had 21 saves last year.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I think they're right there with the Tigers.
Oh, yeah.
I just barely gave the Tigers just a little bit of an edge.
And that's kind of what I'm doing with the Royals.
Okay, I really like Kansas City. They're a very, very good, very sound team, and their depth isn't bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right
I
there.
agree.
A lot of reasons to be excited about them. Kansas City fans should be happy.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Minnesota Twins. Actually, let's move back to the Royals here real quick.
Okay.
Kirk's keys. I forgot to give this.
All right.
Royals offense. Can they be as consistent on the road as they were at home last year? They hit almost 60 to 70 points higher at home than what they did on the road.
Big outfield.
Yeah. So if they can put something together on the road to where there's always that home advantage for everyone.
Yeah.
But if they can shrink that gap a little bit, that will help them as well.
No, yeah. I didn't know it was that big, yeah.
Minnesota Twins. World Series plus 2,500, I've got to know. AL Pennant plus 1,000, I got to know. AL Central plus 210. I've got a no. Win total 84.5. The over is minus 120. The under is plus 100. I got a very slight over. Make playoffs. Yes is plus 100. No is minus 120. I've got a yes on that.
You got them getting a wild card.
I got them getting a wild card.
Okay.
And then my player to watch is Royce Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
In 23 and 58 games, he hit 309 with 15 home runs. Last year in 82 games, he hit 233 with 16 home runs. He was hitting for a lot more average in 23, and he needs to get back to that from what I see. His average dropped, and nothing else rose. His power numbers didn't rise. He played what would that be? 30 less games almost, 25 less games, and he only hit one more home run.
Mm-hmm.
But his batting average dropped 70 points. He's got to get back. He's got to go back to his to his 23 form.
He has to, yeah.
And then Kirk's Keys, they got to stay healthy. The Twins seem to have been injury prone the last few years. To win this division, they have to stay healthy.
And, we're talking about betting.
Yep.
All right. I cannot bet on any team to go very far where your two best players are Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton, because they're just
they're hurt all the time.
Never healthy.
Yeah, they're hurt all the time.
Never healthy.
Yeah.
So there's no way, and without them, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
They're not going to win now, they'll be competitive,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not going to win the division.
Right.
I got them picked actually to finish fourth.
Okay.
Now, by the same token that we've got Kansas City and Detroit razor thin to win it, then I see Cleveland and Minnesota pretty razor thin third and fourth.
Oh, absolutely.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, if Correa and Buxton stay healthy all year,
yeah,
that throws a whole new light on this.
Yep.
But I am not going to bank on those two players. I'm not going to put any kind of dependency on those two at all. And without production from them, they're just not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And they've either not spent any money or they can't spend any money. Probably for the contracts of those two. So didn't go out and get any money. Now they did get a guy that anybody that's not paid close attention to him would think I'm probably crazy for saying this, but Ty France played for Cincinnati last year, but he went to Cincinnati after the Mariners cut him.
Right.
Well, if you look at his stats between the time he left the Mariners and the end of the year, he actually finished the season pretty well with the Reds. Once he got out of Seattle, he seemed to do pretty well. So I'm not going to say he's going to do anything earth-shattering, but he's a good addition to this team that didn't cost him hardly any money.
Right.
Yeah. So he's just a good, solid player.
Yeah.
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 Seattle maybe could use him again, but for some reason they weren't. He didn't perform out there. I don't know if it was just the town.
Yeah.
But people move on.
Yep.
And they can improve.
Yeah.
And he did. He did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Detroit, Kansas City, and then Cleveland and Minnesota, and then of course.
Okay. Well.
The Killable.
We disagree a little bit on this one because I go Royals, Twins, Tigers, Guardians, and White Sox.
I was someplace the other day and I almost went up and asked this kid, how he was not only wearing a White Sox hat, but he was even wearing a White Sox jacket, and I almost said, "Well, you've got to be from the South Side of Chicago,
Well,
and even if you are, I don't know how you could wear that right now."
Well,
Unless he likes the record,
yeah, I mean,
they got the record,
they're the best at being the worst.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess.
there's no doubt about that.
and I think as long as they have present ownership, I don't see it changing
No.
because there's no reason being in a market like Chicago. There's no reason you should be that bad.
Right.
No reason
Right.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
With that kind of market,
Yeah.
there's no excuse to be that bad.
Yeah. And we can talk about that a little more in our next episode as well.
Yeah.
But as far as betting goes, this division is going to be so tight.
Yes.
I mean,
And one key injury.
Any one of these four teams can win this division. This was like throwing the dice and seeing what the dice landed on.
Well, it was that way last year too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just.
Like I said, one key injury, throw the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, so Detroit signed Flaherty.
Mm-hmm. Flaherty
goes down, or God, if Skubal, if anything, if Skubal missed any time at all, he's a 5.5 WAR, and that's the highest so far I've seen in this. Well, what we've been doing.
Right.
He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a stud. He is a stud. So the AL Central could be an entertaining.
Oh, absolutely.
From start to finish.
Well,
don't know if it'll be as exciting as the 3-team race where they're winning 90+ games, but these four have to win every night.
Oh, yeah. And I was just thinking this, and I should have looked it up. You could look it up. But the one thing, if it doesn't change between Detroit, Kansas City, Detroit owned Kansas City last year.
Mm-hmm.
In their head-to-head matchups, and that's another. If Kansas City wants to win a division, they're going to have to improve against Detroit.
Well, and just in the division.
But they were dominated by Detroit. I remember at a key part of the race in, I think it was September, Detroit went to Kansas City and swept them in a 3-game set. Yeah, so that's got to change.
But like you said, for whoever wins the division, wins the division's going to have the best record
in the division.
The division, which is normal.
Yeah.
But it is exceptionally key within this division.
Yeah. Same way with the division we're going to talk about later.
Yep. All right, you got anything else to add on the AL Central?
No, that's good.
Okay, well, that'll end this episode of Bucky Sports Show. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions that you'd like for Jay and I to answer, feel free to email buckysportsshow@gmail.com, and we'll try to answer them for you as best as we can. Again, that's buckysportsshow@gmail.com. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.